prices are crashing. Haven't you heard? Are you selling all your properties? Haven't you heard that banks are collapsing? Mortgage rates are through the roof. Well, let's actually look at some cold, hard facts, shall we? Let's dispense with the hyperbole and the headlines and actually look behind them and take a considered view as to how we chart a path in all this uncertain territory to make sure that we deploy our assets, we not only grow our wealth, but we protect our wealth. My name's Paul Smith, Touch Education, and welcome to this week's edition of Money Matters. I firmly, deeply believe that money does matter. Not for money itself, but for the choices it gives. So I'm just back from 5 weeks in Florida. What were you doing in Florida, Paul? Well, for the first 4 of those weeks, I was working on my health. I was boosting my immune system. How much did you spend doing that, Paul? I spent $200,000. Well, to be fair, that was for me and Aniko, my wife, so it was 2 of us. But if I had in the trips, the hotels, the this, the that, the other thing, it was closer to $250,000. Is extending your life in a good quality way worth $250,000? Most of you are probably going to say, well, yeah. And it might not be for you, it might be your mum, your dad, your child, whatever. My mission in life is to help as many people as possible to become wealthy, to have lots of money, so that they can then use that money when they need to create a legacy, help their loved ones, work on their health, or, you know, whatever it might be. Assuming that you agree with me that money really does matter because it gives you all these choices, then you really need to know, well, how do I grow my wealth? And how do I protect my wealth? Is it stocks and shares? Is it cryptocurrency? Is it gold? Is it artwork like this, you know, original works of art? This is a £50,000 piece of original artwork behind me. Or is it good old-fashioned property? Well, I just want to focus on 2 reports, 2 things, if you like, 2 pieces of information. The first of those is this article in The Guardian where they talk about Rightmove and they talk about confounding all expectations. Property prices in the UK went up by £3,000 in the month of March. I thought property prices were crashing. They just went up. And you'd have thought Rightmove should know because that's the biggest data source for property in the UK, full stop. And number 2, I just want to take you behind the numbers even further. The Halifax or the Nationwide produce surveys and estimates and forecasts. What's the only thing that you know about a forecast? The weather forecast is almost always wrong, isn't it? So what's the only thing we know about financial forecasts? They're always wrong. The media sells loads of newspapers, gets loads of eyeballs on the internet where they sell advertising, depending on the number of eyeballs, with bad news. From a consumer perspective, let's talk about food. Food's good, isn't it? You go out and you have a meal. If it's the best meal you've ever had in your life, you might tell someone. On the other hand, human nature, if you go out and you have a bad experience, they brought the wrong food, it was not lovely, it was rubbery. You, I guarantee you, are going to moan your bits off and go and tell 7 other people. That's the power, it's 7 to 1. The media are not stupid. They print good news, lovely jubbly good news, no one's interested. Bad news, disasters, it's all going to end in tears, the house price bubble. What is the most reliable source of data? Cold, hard, boring data for house prices in the UK. There's this part of the government called the ONS, but it's not a forecast. It's a historical record of what houses actually sold for a couple of months ago. Why is it a couple of months old? Well, think about it. You decide to sell your house. Typically, it takes 2 to 4 weeks to record whatever you just did at land registry. And because the Office for National Statistics doesn't want to make any screw-ups, what they do is they publish 2 or 3 months in arrears. So let's look at the headlines from the ONS report. What does it say? It says that the average house price in the UK is now £290,000. And it specifically says that the average house price this January 2023, is £17,000 more than January 2022. If you don't sell that house, how much tax do you have to pay on that £17,000 increase? Oh yeah, that'll be nothing. Before I started recording this video, I just looked at my buy-to-lets. My buy-to-lets are my least profitable property investments. And I worked it out that the average profit per month per buy-to-let for the last 12 months, I got quite a lot of them, so it's quite a big number, it's a representative sample, was £564. Let's cheat for ease of sake, and let's call it 500 quid. 12 times 500 is £6,000. So per property that you owned, on average, you'd have got £6,000 of rent profit, not rent, rent profit after all costs, and £17,000 capital increase. So per property, that's 23 grand. Even if you only had two, that is more than the average income for the UK. So looking at the actual data, you'll see that house prices aren't crashing, they're going up. And this isn't my data, this is government data. Now let's go on to the Guardian article, which is the Rightmove data. And they're saying, despite expectations, house prices went up by £3,000. Really? People have got money. Institutions have got money. What is the safest asset class? Property. So you've got all this money flooding towards property. That's thing one. Thing two, in order to accommodate all the people in the UK would need to be building 350,000 houses per year. They're not even building half of that. London isn't really part of the UK housing market. It's an international market. There's no real shortage of ultra-high, top-end, £20 million properties in London. The increase in London is lower. I'll tell you the other reason the increase in London is lower. COVID, working from home, they want a garden, all kind of environmental factors as to why London is less desirable than it was. HS2, when HS2 is finished, you'll be able to get from Manchester to London in about an hour. So why would you live in London if you can have a castle up in Manchester? Whenever you need to come to London, you're there in an hour. So the way to become a property investor is to become wealthy through property. The way to become wealthy through property is to do some courses with Touchstone Education. Start with the 2 days online Wealth Through Property. I've been doing this for 41 years. I can help you get significantly further ahead. Touchstone can help you get significantly further ahead. It doesn't have to take you 41 years, but it's not going to take you 41 minutes either. So as long as you're prepared to work hard, if necessary, for a few years, you can totally and utterly change your life. Wealth is when you've got assets, in my case, art, houses, crypto, gold, whatever, and you don't need to work anymore. It just gives you money. What would your life be like if you didn't have to work anymore? I'm not saying that you're going to sit on the beach drinking pina coladas doing sod all for the rest of your life, but what I'm saying is, wouldn't it be nice if you could? All right, hope you enjoyed that edition of Money Matters. Like, share, tell 3 million people that you love it. Let's get the subscribers up. Comment below, even if you haven't got a comment. Just put some inane comment, because that's how the YouTube algorithm works. The more comments, the more you boost this, and the more people can see it. Each and every one of you are wonderful. I've been Paul Smith, and I'll see you next time.